What's up guys, City Striker here, and in this video I want to talk about Rafael Fiziev versus Mateusz Gamrot, because that's the main event of this fight night card this weekend, and this is a really good fight. It's a classic striker versus grappler, striker Rafael Fiziev, grappler Mateusz Gamrot, but it seems like these guys are like a newer generation of lightweights as well. Like their skills are just getting better and better. Even though, Gamrot lost to Beneil Dariush, was a bit of an older style, and Rafael Fiziev just lost to Justin Gaethje, who again has a bit of an older style, but it's more refined. I think it was like due to the lack of experience and not enough like big time fights. But I like it. I like this because there are two guys in the rankings pretty close to each other, and they're fighting each other, and that's one thing I like about the lightweight division is some of these guys that are coming up, they're fighting like guys who are coming up as well. Like if you look in the welterweight division, for example, you got Ian Gary looking to fight guys who are like already in the rankings and already above him. Like he's here, he called out Neil Magny, he fought him. He's calling out Wonder Boy, he's probably gonna fight him. And even though he could be fighting someone like Jacques Della Maddalena, like if they're in the lightweight division, they would probably have to fight each other, but they're not. They're just fighting these guys who are already in the rankings, and that's not bad. But seeing them going up against each other just makes for great fights every time. Like the Armin Tsarukyan fight with Gamrot, that was a great fight. It was like very exciting, but a lot of times like these guys in the lightweight division, they're gonna fight like guys who are coming up because the guys at the top don't want to give them a shot, and it's like a double-edged sword. I like it, and I don't like how these older guys don't give the young guys shots. Like Michael Chandler, like of course he wasn't gonna fight Conor this year, but he decided to sit out for a whole year just to get his McGregor fight like 36 or 37, and he's taking off a year off. Like, come on. Go out there, beat someone. Like, are you in there to get paid, or are you in there to be the champion? And that's something Michael Chandler has to ask himself, because he could have fought an Armin Tsarukyan. He could have fought Rafael Fiziev. Or maybe not, because they train at the same gym, but regardless, you gotta fight some of these up-and-coming guys sometimes. But this fight is, the reason I'm making this video is to make a prediction for this fight. I think I'm going to go with Rafael Fiziev. I know this is a tough matchup. A strong grappler like Gamrot, who's got really good cardio. He doesn't offer much on the feet, but he's been saying how he's been improving on the feet. But I don't know if I believe that, because if you, like, from what I've heard from some of his interviews, like he lives in Poland and he has a family in Poland, but he trains in the United States. Like he comes in there in the American top team in Florida for his camp, and then after his camp is done, he goes back to Poland, and then when he has another fight booked, he goes and has his camp, and then he goes back to Poland. He doesn't stay there for a long period of time. That period of time that would, get you to evolve on your skills. Because during training camp, you're just trying to get in shape and ready for for a specific opponent. You're not going to have time to work on specific aspects of your game that you can improve. But so far, it's been working pretty well for Gamrot. He's only in the UFC. He's only lost to Beneil Dariush. The Armin Tsarukyan fight was very close. You could have given that to Armin, but it is what it is. Gamrot won, but yeah, like it's been working for him. Like he's got a really good record. He's I think he's 22-2, or maybe 23-2. So he's got a high win rate. And if it's working, then keep working it and keep doing it until it doesn't. But that's just how it works for him. And when you look at Rafael Fiziev, he didn't have like a head coach or a team before. Or I could be confusing him with Peter Yan. And he's training at Sanford MMA, which is a really good camp. Like there's a lot of fighters in there. There's a lot of different styles and everything. So to replicate or get a look for a certain fighter, that's not gonna be too hard. But the problem is like the head coach won't be able to like give you specific advice to you and like look at things you're doing in the gym and be like, hey, do this, do that, because there's so many guys that the coach has to like look at. So you're not gonna get any specific advice. I mean, maybe when it's during training camps, like the coaches have priorities on certain fighters or fighters that are fighting. Who knows how their system works? But Kamaru Usman was talking about how training at a big gym like Sanford, it's like you don't really get the coach's attention too much, and you don't really get that outside feedback when you're in the gym and when you're trying to learn and get better. So he went to a smaller camp, and you instantly notice like the improvement. It's different. Like there's pros and cons to having a big gym, and there's also pros and cons to having that smaller gym. But regardless, yeah, Fiziev, I think he's in a good spot. He's got a pretty good gym, and I think he should be able to beat Mateusz Gamrot. I don't think he's gonna finish him. Like Gamrot is pretty durable. He does get dropped pretty often. Like that's one thing about him, that I don't think his chin is that solid. Like in his fight versus Armin Tsarukyan, he got like dropped with a spinning back fist. He got dropped really bad against Benil Dariush in their fight with an overhand, and even Jalen Turner, even though that was on short notice, he still got dropped like pretty bad. And like yeah, that's the one thing about Gamrot, his chin and his striking defense. Like he's there to be hit. Like you don't get dropped that much in such little amount of UFC fights. If there's not like a problem with you, like you have a problem in your defense somewhere and he needs to address it. He's already talking to me like, oh, I want to test my striking against Fiziev, but that's not what you want to hear from a grappler. You know, there was some like I've heard Curtis Blades say that. I think maybe when he was going against like Derek Lewis and maybe against Pavlovich. And some people, like some other grapplers, have said that in the past, and it didn't go well for them. So just do what you gotta do. Do what got you to the dance, and get your win. Like you don't have to try and prove that you're a better striker than the striker when you can just beat the striker on the ground. Like it's all about winning, where it's like the easiest possible path to victory. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think that Rafael Fiziev is gonna be able to. I think he's gonna get taken down at times, but I don't think that as soon as the fight hits the ground, it's over for Fiziev. I think he's gonna be able to get back up. I think he's gonna be able to scramble. Like it's gonna take a lot of energy. Like it's gonna be interesting to see how the later rounds go. But I think that he's gonna be able to defend the takedowns, land some knees in the clinch, land some elbows, and get some combos off before Gamrot starts shooting. And yeah, as long as Fiziev can also control the center of the cage, I think that would benefit him a lot. That way it's going to be easier to defend the takedowns. If you're going up against a grappler, you don't want them pressuring you against the defense. It's going to be way too risky. So, yeah, I think Rafael Fiziev is going to win by decision.